Welcome back to another episode of Bitfinex Talks. I'm your host, Ricardo Martinez. Tonight, I have a very special guest. I have Reza Bandegi, who is a Lightning developer who works for both Bitfinex and Synonym. Reza, how are you today? Thanks for coming on the show.
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. The reason I'm having you on the show today is because Synonym is about to make a pretty big announcement, from what I understand, as a Lightning service provider. Can you tell us a little bit about the announcement and what's going on?
Sure. So what we're announcing is integrating Blocktank, which is our Lightning service provider product, to be integrated inside Bitfinex. So what this means is that Bitfinex users are able to purchase Lightning channels directly in the withdrawal page of within Bitfinex. So this, for people who are looking to have a really reliable connection to Bitfinex node, people who are hosting their own node, it's just like a really easy, convenient way for them to get a channel open from the Blocktank node, which is connected to the Bitfinex node, to be able to get that nice inbound liquidity.
So is it only inbound liquidity, or will I be able to also put liquidity on the other side on my outbound?
It's a good question. Yeah, we actually do support both sides. So setting both spending balance and receiving balance, which is something that's actually not very common. So you don't need to, the users don't need to think about, what you got. If you only get receiving liquidity, then you can't really spend still. While with this feature, it kind of allows them to withdraw to via a Lightning channel. It's another way to actually look at it. So okay, while they're withdrawing from Bitfinex, they get inbound liquidity and they get a spending balance in a Lightning channel, which then they could use the Blocktank nodes and the Bitfinex nodes as their routing nodes to spend.
Nice. Is this only for people that self-host their own Lightning nodes?
Not really. I mean, anyone who's a Bitfinex user can do this. Whether it could be some developer, some Lightning hacker making their own little side project, and they need to get quick inbound liquidity, or they need to get some channel balances going. They could just go on, if they have a Bitfinex account, they could quickly get some channels to them. Or it's just regular users that want to have that nice channel to be able to send and receive to Bitfinex and the wider network.
Okay. And what about people that run nodes on their phone, on their mobile device?
Cool. Yeah, I mean, it's anyone, right? So Blocktank is actually integrated inside of our Bitkit wallet. So what we're trying to do is, what we're trying to fix with Blocktank, the problem of just routing and liquidity. And we want to integrate Blocktank in places where we think it makes sense. So we think exchanges make sense. And it's also integrated with within our Bitkit wallet. So our Bitkit wallet users don't need to go through the whole Bitfinex integration. It's already built into it. But for, let's say, you're using some other Lightning wallet that doesn't have Blocktank integration, you can use Blocktank integration with the Bitfinex. We support LNURL channel, so it's very simple. You scan a QR code after you made your payment for the channel, and it would just behind the scene, magically, the channel will be opened.
If I want to get inbound liquidity or open a channel or whatever from like a Zeus wallet, where I would normally connect it to my own node, could I just connect it directly to the Blocktank node?
Yeah, you can do that. We make it so. I mean, one of the main reasons we are putting this inside of Bitfinex is to encourage self-custody. So currently, custodial Lightning works really well. If you use Bitfinex FastPay in the mobile app to pay Wallet of Satoshi, or the whole custodial experience, in my opinion, is flawless right now. It rarely fails if you're using one of these big Lightning wallets, but currently the non-custodial services, so using your own node, running your own node, they are kind of have to jump through extra hoops to get that really nice user experience. And yeah, with this feature, we want to make it so it's easier for people to get that liquidity. So if they set up Zeus or any other, they could be running Umbrella or any node, any other wallet that has their own node inside of it, they can just use this, and they don't really need to think about, oh, where am I going to get liquidity from, or and when it runs out, when the channels are depleted, they've either spent it all or they received it and they want to get new channels, they could just go to their exchange account and then withdraw already. They may already have some funds on the exchange. And yeah, I mean, overall, it's for user experience and making that non-custodial users get closer to that full custodial experience.
I really like the way this project is going, because I'm one of those people that dislikes custodial Lightning. Don't get me wrong, I was just at Crypto Latin Fest and I was using Wallet of Satoshi all weekend to buy like food and drinks and stuff, but I prefer, I also run my own node, and I would prefer to use my Zeus wallet if I could. Can you top up directly within your Bitfinex account then? Like, if say I spend all my channel balance, I can just top up directly from within the Bitfinex account?
Yeah. I think this entire integration to me makes a lot of sense. Exchanges are places where people onboard into Bitcoin, right? They put in their dollars, their fiat, and they buy Bitcoin with it, and it makes sense for them to, initially we were one of the first exchanges. We were probably the first big exchange to actually integrate Lightning. So that was a big move, and which you could back then there was no way to be able to buy Bitcoin and then withdraw straight to Lightning. So we enabled that, and I think this is the next phase of being able to onboard people through Lightning directly from dollars. So you could buy Bitcoin on an exchange and then directly withdraw via Lightning channel, and you never really go on chain. And I think this is, in my opinion, this is a first, and I think we'll probably see other exchanges, just like how we're currently seeing other exchanges just start at Lightning. We were the first, so we're the first to integrate LSP services inside of an exchange. So I think maybe in a couple of years they'll see the light and they'll also add it. So yeah, overall I think it makes sense to have use exchanges as a way to onboard into Lightning.
As I understand it, you were like a central actor in the first Bitfinex Lightning implementation. And now you're making history again. Congratulations. You mentioned exchanges twice, right? And you've also mentioned that it's like a consumer-facing product. Are there any limits to the amount of liquidity that you can add to your wallet or whatever?
Yeah. I mean, it's it is designed to be just for spending, it's not supposed to be for commercial users. So if someone is running there could be some smaller exchange somewhere in the world that wants to get that liquidity. They're not able to buy, let's say, a 10 Bitcoin channel. There's a limit on it, so you could only purchase. The amount is set so it's for commercial and everyday spending amounts.
This is the second product that Synonym has released after the Bitkit wallet. Can you tell us a little bit about the Bitkit wallet and what sets it apart from conventional Lightning wallets?
Sure. So I think where one of the first actual Lightning wallets with LDK integrated in it. So we work closely with the LDK team to kind of get this to actually have a full non-custodial wallet with LDK inside of it. We have integrated Blocktank within it. So the goal, what we're trying to go for with the Bitkit wallet is to get as close as possible to that custodial Lightning experience. Our ideal is that the user shouldn't really care about channels and liquidity, and it should just work. They might get some notifications saying, oh, to receive this Bitcoin, you need to top up your service. The way we see it is it's the whole idea of LSPs is kind of similar to internet service providers. When you buy a laptop, and you can't just connect to the internet, you've got to get an ISP. You got to connect to an ISP, and you might pay some amounts per month or however your contract is with them, and then you connect to the internet. You don't really care what's going on behind the scenes. You don't care what your modem is doing, what your operating system is doing. You don't care what the ISP is doing to make that internet, to give you the internet connection. And this is what we're trying to go for with Bitkit, where you pay some amount, and then you're behind the scene. Bitkit is going to be smart enough to make sure you could send and receive seamlessly while being in control of your keys.
How is this service different than other liquidity provider services like Bitrefill's Thor?
So what we one of the where that there's been a lot of this whole idea of LSPs has been around for some time, but we've decided to kind of push forward and really bring it to its full potential. So we alongside other Lightning companies, like other Lightning implementations, like the LDK team, Core Lightning and such, and Breeze, we've created this LSP spec group. For example, the LSP spec group ensures that there are uniform APIs for LSPs. So once Bitkit, once the LSP spec is finalized, Bitkit will build in the LSP spec client, so you're not actually even locked into Blocktank either. Some other wallets out there, they kind of lock in their mobile users to their LSPs, so which is fine. These are all about trade-offs, right? We by developing the spec, it kind of gives it even more. It makes the entire experience more private, so you could have multiple LSPs, so you're not tied down to one where they could monitor your payments going in and out. And where there's various new channel opening methods we're working on. One of them is called just-in-time channels, so JIT channels. So JIT channels effectively allows the LSP to open a channel to your node dynamically when you need it. So let's say I'm paying you to your Zeus node, and you don't have a channel, but your Zeus node is connected to Blocktank. If Zeus was LSP compliant, LSP spec compliant, it can make it so Blocktank would open a channel when I'm paying you. If Blocktank detects that I can't pay you, so it would instead open a channel to you and then push the payments directly to your node. So as a sender, I won't get a message saying, "Oh, can't pay, no route found," because it would always find a route. Because if it can't find a route, it would just open a channel and make sure you actually are able to receive the payments. This is a very high level overview of the some of the features of the LSP spec. But yeah, to summarize, we're gonna put a whole bunch of new features in Blocktank to make that Lightning experience nicer for non-custodial users.
It sounds super cool. How I know you guys are like one of the very first, but like how do you see LSPs like playing a role in Lightning in the future? Do you see this to be like a huge, massive industry, like internet service providers you compared them to?
Potentially, I think Lightning is always changing, but given how routing works and how just overall the topography of the network, it does seem like that these LSPs are going to be burdening a lot of the complexities and regarding routing, regarding watchtowers, where they watch, so no one's gonna try to steal funds from their channel. And overall, I think currently the non-custodial Lightning user experience is for, I'd say, advanced users, and I think in order to get to that stage where you have your just everyday normie wanting to use Lightning in a non-custodial manner, a lot of the complexities of Lightning is going to be handled by the LSPs. And yeah, I think they will probably end up doing a lot of volume. And I think there might even be LSPs that are, designated to, they only do a few things. There's like features in the pipeline where like trampoline routing that would allow your mobile wallet doesn't need to have the entire graph synced to your phone. Instead, it could tell your LSP, hey, I want to pay my friend, you go find the route. And the LSP has the entire Lightning graph. As the network becomes bigger, it becomes harder for nodes to have the full graph and find routes, but the LSPs are going to be able to do that. So yeah, I mean, overall, I think they're going to be doing more and more for Lightning users.
You have a lot more knowledge on this topic than I do. What haven't I asked you that you think our viewers should know about the Lightning channel service and LSPs?
I mean, with Lightning, progress is slow, right? And people want that ideal experience today. And I guess what I'm here to tell them is, we've come a long way from the early days. I was involved in the early days of Lightning, which was just like a handful of nodes in the entire network. Now there's thousands, and there was no integration in any exchanges or anywhere really, no retailer, nowhere. And we're slowly, now Lightning as a tool for online stores is a requirement, I would say. That's what people are starting to expect, because the experience for buying via, like you were at a conference recently, so I'm sure everyone was buying food and beers with Lightning. And that experience, that experience was not there in the early days. And I remember people were complaining and they wanted, I want to go to the store and buy things with Lightning, and it wasn't there. So now it's there. I mean, the people's expectations is always going to be ahead of what the technology can do, and developing these things are hard. This integration is one step. I'm sure we might look back in a couple of years and just expect that all exchanges are going to be having a lot of LSP services for their users, and they're still going to want more. I mean, this is a good thing. As a community, we all want to improve, but it takes time, and I think we should get these little wins when we can. And yeah, I think the future is looking good despite the challenges ahead. And yeah, just looking forward to seeing the next things that we release and integrate into Bitfinex and other places.
In a hyper Bitcoinized utopia where everyone is using Lightning non-custodially, like what time horizon do you see for that to occur? Like, do you think it's going to be, like over 50 years, kind of like the internet?
It's a good question. I wish I knew the answer. I mean, my personal opinion is that hyper-Bitcoinization is not. There's two elements to it. There's if people in the whole world wanted to use Bitcoin as today, I think they just can't. The technology and the infrastructure does not exist. So the people that would say, I want hyper-Bitcoinization today, well, if it does happen, like the fees would skyrocket. There won't be enough channels. No one would know how to use Lightning. So I think it's going to be a gradual step. I don't know, maybe I could see, small communities developing their own circular economy, whether it's actual physical community like El Salvador or Uganda, but also online communities where people earn and spend just with Lightning and Bitcoin. And I think slowly that will just grow and grow. And just like what I was saying with growth of Lightning, if you were around in the early days of Bitcoin, people would have been, their mind would have been blown to see how far we've come. But the community is always wanting more and more, which is great. But the timeline, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 years. There's an element of just, we can build all the technology, but the society has to also, and the overall economy, those other elements that we can't really control, have to align as well. So the technology needs to align, societal and economical situation of the world also needs to align for that to happen.
We've seen you guys come out with Bitkit and now the Lightning channel, Lightning service provider product. What can we expect next from Blocktank and Synonym?
So, right now we're, keeping our heads down and just working behind the scenes. Our plan is to really polish Bitkit, our app, to be flawless, working well with Lightning. We're currently also deep in our decentralized web platform, Slashtags. We're working on that, kind of polishing it, fixing things where got some feedback from community and kind of tweaking it. So yeah, as far as things that we're going to release, I'm not going to reveal anything just yet, but we have the only thing I could say is that the most immediate thing is just making sure Bitkit is going to be one of the best non-custodial Lightning wallets out there, with great experience with an LSP, dynamic JIT channels. Splicing is getting a lot of traction in Lightning, so we're looking into that closely. Being able to dynamically resize your channel as well. I think that's a pretty cool idea. So you're trying to receive a payment, you have a channel, but it's not big enough. You could just kind of grow that channel size, and so you could send a payment through it. Just the space is moving, and we're keeping up with it and trying to pick the best parts and integrating it into our tech stack.
In an example of the dynamic channel resizing, if somebody sent me a whole Bitcoin and my channel's only 0.1, it would expand to that size just to receive the payment?
Yeah, I mean, in theory, that you can do things like that. Yeah, so you don't have to create a new channel. I think you can also reduce the size as well, so you could take some money out of the channel. So if you do get one Bitcoin channel, and you don't want to keep all of that in your Lightning wallet, you can, take some of it, and your channel will still be online. Okay,
cool. You could dip a little bit into the cold storage.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you tell our viewers how they could follow you and your work and find out more about Synonym and Blocktank, your social media and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. You could find me on Twitter. My handle is R32A_. It's not a really intuitive name, but it's been there for ages. And yeah, you could follow the Blocktank Twitter page as well, the Synonym one. Keep up to date those accounts.
My last question for you before I let you go is, could you briefly explain what Slashtags are for our audience?
So yeah, Slashtags is a decentralized web platform. What we're trying to do with it, this whole space of decentralized web is really picking up. We're seeing things like Noster. There is also Bitfinex's own initiatives via Keat, the peer-to-peer chat. So I think this whole space is really picking up. So Slashtag is our attempt at kind of solving some problems in that area. So the main feature that is integrated into Bitkit right now is you could have profiles. So you create your own Slashtags profile, and you could add your contacts to it. We have this protocol called Slashpay. So instead of getting a Lightning invoice and getting a Bitcoin address, this payment protocol doesn't care what your payment rail is. It can behind the scene negotiate with your Slashtags software running on Bitkit, and it would find a way to pay you, whether it's on-chain or Bitcoin. And this Slashpay has plugins where you can add any type of payment rail. So the idea is you can just pay the person. You don't really care how you pay them. You just want to pay them. And a lot of these features for Slashtags, they are intended to be peer-to-peer, so no middleman. And our approach is to roll out Slashtags features one by one. So you have profiles, contacts, Slashpay, and we got a few other coming down the pipeline. Oh, another one is feeds. So the feed feature kind of works like, let's say, RSS, but it's peer-to-peer. So you don't need to have a web server or DNS name. Anyone could create a feed, and they could just write any type of data on it. And the Bitkit wallet is able to read the feed and just display it. Whether it's we have some demo feeds in there now. It's like Bitcoin price feed, Bitcoin block and blockchain information, whether like it's fees or transactions and such. So yeah, we're rolling those features one by one, and I think at the end it will be like a whole ecosystem of various features, so modular, plug and play, and it will all be without no siloed data, all peer-to-peer, and you have your with your private key, you should be able to do use all those features, and yeah, you're not controlled by big tech.
Well, that sounds very, very exciting. Thanks so much for coming on the show and talking to me about the things that you're working on right now, Reza.
Thanks for having me on.